What's up? Welcome back to Overtime Operators, the show where we talk about making money in sports. We got an insane week of betting this week. We got some good bets coming up. We're going to dive right into it. We're going to go straight to Casey, and Casey's going to tell us the $10 bet this week. Just a quick reminder, if you've never been here before, we have a format where we go through $10, $20, $30, $40, and $50 bets, just kind of signaling how confident we are in the various bets. So Casey's $10 bet will be his lowest confidence bet, but he's still making it. Casey, what you got this week?
John, this week for my $10 bet, lowest confidence, I think that holds true in this scenario. I'm going with the biggest spread of the week, and for the favorites to cover. It feels kind of scary in a playoff game, just hearing that. It's a double-digit spread between the Steelers at the Bills. Bills 10-point favorites. I'm taking them to cover. I think the 10 points is what made me bring this down to the $10 round.
Them Bills are hot. They're cooking right now.
They are. And the Steelers,
it's those extra
I don't want
Dalton
to take
Kincaid
anything away
targets
from them, but I think it's fair to say at least they barely deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they uglily win games, but yeah, the Bills are cooking. Dalton Kincaid's coming alive. Obviously, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs still great duo. So I'm -10. I get it; it's a playoff game, but I mean, if there's going to be a -10, there's going to be a 10-point spread somewhere. That's a good place to bet on it. Daps, what do you got in the $10 round?
I'm going back to Houston, back to the national championship game spot. I'm going to go with the Texans plus 2.5 at home. I think the Browns have been playing amazing, but at the same time, CJ Stroud is on fire. He's playing at home. I think this is a way different game in Cleveland. I'm going to give CJ Stroud a big shot here to make things happen. He was super impressive last week against the Colts. He's the Texans also, didn't have CJ Stroud for at least 2 weeks this season. So I'm just curious as to what their record would have been had he played those games, and then how that would have affected the spread. So I'm going to go with the home team getting points.
All right. I like it. Texans getting points. Casey, back to you. $20 round, a little bit more confident this time. What you got?
John, there's a limited amount of games this week.
You got to keep going back to the same wells.
I figured I might end up double dipping in certain matchups. So I stacked the one I want to double dip on right at the beginning. That's probably why I have them as my two lower confidence bets. But I'm going back to Steelers at Bills here. There's a 36-point line. I think that they're going to hit the over on that. Both teams are relatively hot, so I could see some point score happening. This is going to be in Buffalo, right? So you always wonder if weather's going to be a factor. I haven't seen the weather report for this one in particular, but I do think these two teams might be two of the better teams built to play in worse conditions, if that makes any sense. And I think they can still score. So that doesn't scare me too much off of this relatively low points line. I'm going to take the over on 36 points. Bills at home playing the Steelers.
Big snow maybe could affect that, but I hear you. Taking that double
probably
dip.
Also see the line dip if weather looks worse, so get in on a better line later.
You're taking that double dip early. That's a shameless double dip. That's like you didn't even leave the table. Like you didn't even walk around. You dipped, dipped right again, just right there where everyone could see it. Didn't even flip it. No, it had your slobber coming off of it. All right, Daps, $20 round to you. What do you got?
I like the Chiefs -4.5 at home. The Dolphins have lost two of their starting defenders in the last 30 days or so. They're just not impressive. They haven't beat one team, or I think they beat one team with a winning record this year. Plus they're banged up. Mostert's been hurt. Achane came back from injury. Tyreek hurt his ankle. I don't know if Waddle's healthy. The whole team is just hurt. They might be playing, but there's still lingering issues. They do not have any momentum after having the division locked up for a while and just losing to the Bills twice in the last month of the season. I do not think mentally they're there right now. The Chiefs also super underwhelming, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home in this one. Patrick Mahomes' experience, I believe, will show here.
I like it. All right, $30 round into the mid range. Casey, back to you.
Yeah, I'm going to the same matchup. I'm kind of echoing Daps' sentiment here. I think the game script is similar to what he was suggesting. Daps really laid it out well. The Dolphins kind of just falling apart late in the season, being the Eagles of the AFC. And I think in this game, they're going to have a hard time putting up points. This has been one of my picks to go deep into the playoffs early in the season. I think I'm having a hard time coming off that, so I'm not taking the Chiefs to outright beat them or beat them against the spread. I'm going with the points line here again. I saw a 44-point line, and I think that this is going to hit the under, actually. I think
Wow.
at least the Dolphins, are a team that's not particularly well built to play in bad conditions, being used to the Miami weather and whatnot. And I agree. I think their defense is going to have a tough time stopping the Chiefs. I think the Mahomes playoff experience is going to show. I don't know that it's going to need to look like a blowout, though. I think Miami's going to have some serious issues. Maybe they can pull off the win here. I don't know. But I think either way, this is a low scoring affair, probably. Call me crazy off the back of a Steelers Bills, potentially higher scoring game. But
Yeah.
I want to mention that the line is 8 points higher here. So
I
guess
think
that's
I think the 44 line is because these two teams have just the Dolphins have obviously been pretty explosive on offense throughout the season, but then they kind of aren't in these back last few games. They haven't been as much, and then Chiefs kind of known for being offensively explosive, but then this year again, like this sort of last half of the season, they've been hobbling a little bit. So I don't hate it. I think there's a chance. There's a chance this goes under. There's also a chance that this game goes to like 60. And
right.
These teams just like
Totally could, yeah.
shoot it out, right?
So hey, playoff matchups. We got to bet on something here.
Yeah. Like I think if it goes over, there's a good chance it doesn't go over by just a little. All right, let's move 30. So that was $30 round for you, Casey. Daps, over to you for your $30 bet.
In my $30 spot, I'm going to go with the Eagles Bucks under 44. The Bucks just beat the Panthers 9-0, 3 field goals. Panthers actually do have a decent defense, but Eagles aren't hot right now. They don't have it together. I could still see them putting up points. I just think both of these teams are a little bit more defensive oriented. I think they're going to play relatively conservative. I think it could be a slow, boring game. That's why I'm going with the under.
Yeah. Okay. So under 44 was the line.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Next up, we're getting into the real betting now. $40 round. It's getting serious. Casey, where are you going with it?
This really does make or break our betting weeks here on this show. I am going to the Eagles at Bucks. I got the Eagles to cover the 3-point spread here. I think the Eagles have limped into their playoff seeding, but the Bucks, although I did think they would be the team to come out of this division, I do think they're the best team out of their division on a regular week. They still are. They're one of those barely made the playoff teams. The Eagles, if there ever was a get right game in a playoff tournament, this is as close as you're going to get. So give me the Eagles -3 to take this one.
I like it. Eagles kind of catching the right matchup in the beginning. Really feel like the Dolphins and the Chiefs, whoever loses that game is unfortunate because either one of them could make a run, but Eagles kind of catching the right matchups early on. I like it. -3.
What do they call it when an Eagle is it like a heat thermal? The Bucks are essentially like a heat thermal in the sky so that they can
so they can rise up.
Soar.
Yeah, so they can soar.
Not a biologist.
Yeah, not a geography pod, Casey. All right, Daps, $40 round to you.
My $40 round is going Cowboys Packers under 50.5. That's a lot of points. A lot of points for a playoff game. I think Dallas should have this one in the bag, but Dallas always does Dallas things. And I mean, the spread is 7.5. That means they think this game is going to be somewhere around 30-23, 28-21, right? Somewhere around there, 29-22. I just don't see the game flow like that. Both of these teams have their moments where they don't have it together, so to speak. during the game. And if one of them does that, I think the under will hit.
Yeah. You said that 53 is the line?
I had it at 50.5.
Okay. 50.5. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. How many points do you think the Cowboys, let's say the game goes as it should. Cowboys win the game, right? How many points do you really think the Packers are going to put up, right? Are they going to put up 15, 20 points against the Cowboys defense? And if not, do you really think the Cowboys are going to run it up past 30 or 35? I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if the I think the Packers can score 2 touchdowns throughout the game, or a mix of field goals. But if they score 14 points and the Cowboys score 30,
yeah, we're still
under
well
hits.
under. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they set this line
Even
high.
if the Cowboys win 30-20, the under would hit. So,
yep. Yeah, I do like the Packers. I like how they kind of brought it on at the end of the season. I love Jordan Love. He went to college right here where I'm from. So, cool. Made the playoffs his first year. I do think it is probably the end of the line for him, and I don't know that I see them putting up too many points on the Cowboys. I like this as in a $40, $50 bet slot. I think it's one of the better bets of the week. Casey, big bet, $50, most confident bet. Back to you. What do you think?
Man, I hate to say it, but this one's already been said. I'm piggybacking on Dap's $10 bet, his first round.
You guys have vastly different levels of confidence in this bet.
I actually like this one quite a bit. I've heated up to it a lot. I'm actually disappointed that this matchup is at this point in the playoffs. I wish it was another round, maybe 2 later even. I think this could be one of the better matchups. The Browns looking pretty good lately. Texans looking really good anytime CJ Stroud's on the field. I got the Texans plus 2.5 here. He's just too good, man. He's just too good. At the end of the day, the better quarterback, I think, does give this team an advantage. And call me crazy, but I think the Texans have the better quarterback.
I don't think that's crazy. I mean, who are the Browns even playing?
I mean, hey, I'm not floating any disrespect. Joe Flacco.
It's Flacco,
yeah.
It's
not. That's not my.
No, it's nice to see him. It's nice to see him. And on behalf of all old men out there, all dudes who are too old to be in the NFL at this point, it's always good to see just an old dog out there doing something. So I like it, but CJ Stroud he's the new hotness. He's good.
I think this one's going to be tight though, man. Brown's really good defense. So CJ Stroud has his work cut out for him, but I think the young man can do it.
Yep. All right, Daps, most confident bet, $50 round. What you got?
Oddly enough, I'm going the reverse play of Casey. So we'll see who gets this one. I'm going with the Chiefs Dolphins over 44. I do think there will be enough firepower in that game to clear that 44-point spread. But listen, it might snow. It might be freezing. Both teams could not show up. The Chiefs also have looked, lackadaisical, to say the least, on offense. But I just see one of those teams putting it together.
Yeah.
One of them is going to show up offensively, and if they both show up, it's going to cover easily.
It's actually, I don't hate that one either. I should mention that one I did see a weather report for, so whatever that means, but I did see that it should be bad weather in that one. So if it sways you at all, but I get it.
For what it's worth, I will put out there that we record this on Wednesdays. For over-under bets, you should definitely wait, especially this time of year. In January, over-under bets should definitely be waiting to see what the lines are when you're more sure of what the weather will be. Don't take an over-under bet on a Wednesday, or do it at your own risk, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, if the weather report looks bad now, maybe the weather gets better. You get in on that over-under early. Stuff could happen, but yeah, I like that you guys are on opposite sides of this one. I always like when we're on opposite sides. Somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. Daps has this as his most confident bet.
Just to let everybody know, as of right now, I'm just checking the weather. The wind is supposed to be 15 miles per hour, which
not nothing.
Can definitely affect the game. It's not a lot, but it's not a little either, I wouldn't say. I would say 30 miles is like,
30 miles is a lot of wind.
Yeah, but 15 can definitely move a kick, and it can mentally mess up the kickers. High for the day is 9 degrees at Arrowhead, and the low is -4.
That is chilly. That's the
and
kind of weather you don't want to get hit.
It's supposed to snow on Friday, and who knows? Sometimes these weathermen they mess up by a day for
Yeah.
12 hours, and you might
No,
get some
I
promoted
think
other
they're like
games.
100%. I don't think I've ever seen a
No
weather
way.
person
Are
be wrong.
they?
Yeah, 100%. Every
Yeah,
time they
No.
get it right.
undefeated weather
Undefeated.
gods.
Oh, yeah, yeah, they are 100%.
No, yeah, I mean, but that's cold. 4 degrees, 9 degrees. That's the kind of weather you don't want to get hit in. It's the kind of weather you just like you don't want to catch a football in because it
Yeah.
hurts. Everything hurts. When it's
You want to
5 degrees
refund your
outside,
tickets that you bought to the game.
when it's 5 degrees outside, everything you do hurts. Like breathing hurts. It hurts your lungs to breathe. All right, boys, that was a good round of betting. Casey, I think you got some fun stuff planned, some fun NFL playoff stuff planned. I got a jet, but you and Daps are going to be able to get through that. So we'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys. Thanks for being here, John. We'll move into the Casey and Daps portion. I did have this part planned with John being able to be with us, but we can work through this together, Daps. I have 2 quick things prepared. This first one will take a little bit longer, probably. So if we take the rest of the time with this, that's fine. But I have a really quick one after this too. So I figured, you know what, man? Let's just fill out a bracket together. Let's just try to see eye to eye on this. I was hoping we'd have a third to be the tiebreaker, so that we would have it democratic way. But let's just run through this. Not think about it too much. Get a little fast and loose. Maybe get crazy here and there. Daps, how do you feel about Bills at Steelers for our first playoff matchup?
I think the Bills are going to destroy the Steelers. They lost TJ Watt. I, the fact that they're in the playoffs is remarkable. What Mason Rudolph has done over the last couple of weeks is impressive. Obviously, Mike Tomlin is one of the goats, but they just don't have enough to beat the Bills. The Bills didn't even play well against the Dolphins. Allen threw 2 picks in the end zone, fumbled, 3 turnovers in bad moments too, and they still won. So I like the Bills. And by the way, that was in Miami. Bills are going to get a nice little 2 games at least at home. So it's not easy to play in Buffalo. Buffalo is insane. I lived there for 5 years. The fans are insane. The stadium is insane. They live, breathe, and die Buffalo Bills over there. So it's not a place you want to go as an opposing team. And the Bills are going to roll. I liked your -10 pick before, Casey.
Thank you. I like it as well. All right. Let's try to breeze through these ones a little bit quicker pace, maybe, so we can still get to the last game, hopefully. And let's do it like possession arrow if we disagree. I'll give you the possession arrow first. If we disagree, we'll go with your pick, and then we'll go to mine on the next one we disagree. Chiefs at Dolphins. I was too cowardly to pick here. Do you have a big lean either way? I don't feel too strong.
I just think the Chiefs they have the advantage at home, and they have the advantage with their playoff experience.
All right, I'm down with that. I think that's probably the right way. I just have a hard time coming off of my early Super Bowl predictions that I still just want to be true. But I think you're probably right about it. All right, Texans at Browns. We both took the Texans here, so I guess as easy as that, huh? Texans move on.
Easy as that.
Let's go. All right, Ravens at Texans now. Or wait, that can't be right. It's got to be Ravens home. Oh, sorry, home and away. I just assumed the team on the right was the home team this whole time. Baltimore at home against the Texans. We going Ravens here?
I'm going Ravens. Yeah, I don't think the Texans are experienced enough to beat the Ravens.
Not yet. Hey, 1 playoff win is pretty good for a rookie. You know, he doesn't need to get greedy yet. All right, hey, we've seen it before. Maybe we'll see it again, just like this. We got Bills at home. If that matters to you, what do you think? Bills and Chiefs.
Listen, I always root for Mahomes, but I just feel like it might be the Bills' year. Both of these teams are super underwhelming, and I'm giving them the edge because they're playing in Buffalo. Is the reason I'm giving them the edge.
Wow. Hey, I don't hate it. I will say though that my lean here is the Chiefs, only because it feels like they got their number. You know, it just. I think if it was anybody but the Bills, even the Bills coming in hot. So I would go Chiefs here, but possession arrow goes to you on this one. So we'll go with the Bills. All right. And then push comes to shove. Ravens and Bills. Ravens at home. Who's going to the bowl?
I got to go Ravens here. They're just so strong. They look so strong, and they demolished the Lions. They demolished the Niners. The games weren't close. They demolished the Dolphins. So
I agree. I think they're unstoppable. Honestly, that's I would have had the Chiefs losing to them anyway. I had the Chiefs been the team there. So, all right, we agreed quite a bit here. Let's see if the NFC goes the same way. We got Dallas at home, the 2 seed against the 7 seed Green Bay Packers. We both going Dallas here.
Dallas for sure.
Okay, just making sure. You've got to ask the tough questions. Detroit, the 3 seed at home against the 6 seed Rams. This one, a little more up for grabs. Did either of us bet on this one? No, I think we avoided it like the plague, actually. What do you think? Let's get into it.
I've been saying Rams were a sneaky playoff team all year, so I got to stick to my guns and go Rams.
I don't hate it. Let's go with the Rams for sure there. Buccaneers at home against the Eagles away. I already bet on this one. I said it's the Eagles. Do you agree with me here?
I think I do. I've just Hurts hurt his finger. Brown went down, so we'll see. I guess you got to lean Eagles, but I don't. If the Bucs win, I'm really not surprised.
All right, moving on to the second round. The 49ers with the bye at home against the Rams now in the second round. We got the Niners here.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everybody that I think that this game is going to be way closer than people believe. But I'm going to have to go Niners here.
Hey, just so everybody knows, McVay has lost to Shanahan something like 8 out of 9 times or something in the last time they played each other. That one loss was the NFC Championship game. I mean, something to be said about that. So I think it'll be close as well. I do think the Niners win. Dallas at home against the Eagles. This is a meme that played out like against the Eagles. It's at the expense of the Eagles. How did this happen? Now they're playing Dallas in the second round of the playoffs. Daps, who we got in this one? Cowboys at home against the Eagles.
Cowboys got it for sure.
Damn. Man. Just Eagles, you played yourselves. What can we say? All right, Niners at home against the Cowboys, the rematch that I think Dallas has wanted since way early in the season. Do you see it going the same way with the Niners beating them, or is it the Cowboys?
I can't the same way I can't see the Niners beating the Ravens. I can't see the Cowboys beating the Niners only because of what we've seen as a sample size so far. But again, any given Sunday, we'll see what happens. I got to go Niners over Cowboys. I would maybe say Cowboys if they were at home, but they're not.
Yeah, that maybe could do the difference. Was the game earlier in the season? I can't remember if that was in Dallas or in Santa Clara, but oh well. We got the 1 seeds going to the bowl. Really hot takey of us. By the way, it's right in line with the have you seen the Super Bowl logo conspiracy stuff?
No.
You
Oh,
haven't
yeah,
seen
yeah,
that?
yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure,
the
for
last
sure.
like 3 years, both of the teams' primary color has been in the Super Bowl logo, and this year it's purple and red. I mean, what are we doing?
Yep,
Come on, NFL, be
yep,
more subtle.
yep.
All right, I do technically have the possession arrow here, but I'm not going to use it. I'm going to hand this one to you, Daps, and bow out because I am obviously too biased here. Who's going to win the Super Bowl, Ravens or the 49ers in Las Vegas?
Ravens. I think it's the Ravens' year. There's been times where the Niners have looked dominant and like it was their year, but again, they played the Ravens this year and it was not close. It was never close. They got their ass kicked, and I don't know what changes. You know, the Ravens had their number um, on defense, and how are they going to change that? I don't know. Maybe Shanahan comes up with a different scheme to put Purdy in a better position to not throw picks, but the Ravens create turnovers. They had Lamar Jackson on that BS safety too. That didn't help them. So everything pointed towards Ravens, and they're going to need a huge. I mean, listen, the game's going to be indoors in Vegas. Lamar's going to shine indoors. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see him not being able to pass, being able to run. So we'll see what happens. High scoring game.
Ravens will be our official pick as a show, just to get it on the record. I can't, so that's why I had to pass it to you here. I couldn't in good conscience veto your pick here. We'll go with the Ravens. I do think the 49ers can pull it off. What changes? I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I've gotten football games wrong before, and I'm not known why the game went the way it did. So the Niners are a good team. They can win any given Sunday, and that's just going to be the most important Sunday of the season. So hopefully my boys can put it together if that ends up being the matchup. I would like to see the matchup again. I think they've been the best team from each conference. So, all right, it's time for our last segment of the show. I have a fun one for you here, Daps. I have a bit of a. Are you familiar with blind rankings?
I'm sure. I don't know if I know them by that name, but let's run it.
Okay, so I'm going to list 8 quarterbacks one at a time for you, and I give you the first one. You tell me 1 through 8. Where does he belong without knowing who's coming? So it's not a gun held to your head. This is the list that you actually agree with at the end of the thing. Makes for hey, it's for the content. You know, we got to do it. So 8 quarterbacks. Daps, are you ready to rate them?
Let's go.
All right. First up, Jalen Hurts. Let's get into it. 1 through 8. Where does he belong?
7.
7. Ooh, spicy. Love it. All right. Next up, CJ Stroud.
6.
6. All right. And right after that, we got Tua Tagovailoa.
5.
All right. Hey, I see a pattern emerging here. Next up, we have Brock the Glock Purdy.
4.
Okay. All right. This man has a strategy here. Next up, Gardner Minshew.
8.
Gotta be. All right. Next up, down the pipe, Josh Allen.
2.
2. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. All right. I had this pre-planned out. I'm going to give you the last 2 at the same time so you can fill the holes respectively. You have the 1 and the 3 left. 2 names are Dak Prescott and Matt Stafford.
All right. Well, Dak has to go to 1 and Stafford has to go to 3. I in my defense, I thought that the game was with playoff quarterbacks is how I started.
Hey, you know what? That's a fair assumption. That's on me
Yeah.
for not being more clear. Let's read them off. Just hey, still a fun experiment. It didn't end up too crazy. I think you actually navigated it pretty well. In order here, you have Dak at number 1, Josh Allen number 2, Matt Stafford number 3, Brock Purdy number 4, Tua Tagovailoa number 5, CJ Stroud number 6, Jalen Hurts number 7, Gardner Minshew number 8. Daps, which one feels like the worst? If you could make one swap, what would you do? Anything?
Well, I probably would have put Stafford towards the back end, above Minshew. But also he is a Super Bowl MVP winning quarterback. So it probably would have went, Dak 1, Allen 2, or Allen 1, Dak 2. Tua, CJ, all in that area. So,
Man, so Stafford behind Stroud?
Again, are we talking about like this year, their stats?
Hey, this is your criteria. You got through the list. Whatever.
If the game is who do I think is going to perform in the playoffs this year, again, I guess we can't really call it that because Minshew's not in it, but Stafford would go above CJ Stroud on who I think is going to perform in the playoffs. But if it's just based on last year's rankings or all time
talent,
for sure. Talent. Just raw talent. I think CJ Stroud's above Stafford for sure.
I like it. I like that. Hey, a little spiciness in there. I thought you did a good job with it. The criteria was really up in the air. Who knows? And you didn't know who's coming down the pipe. So I thought you did a pretty good job with it. You ended up in a pretty good spot. Brock Purdy could be a little bit higher, I'd say. But anyway, that's going to do it for our show. Overtime Operators today. Thanks for watching or listening. Make sure you follow or you subscribe to us. Drop a like if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for being here, Daps. Check them out at Daps Sports. You can find me on YouTube at Niners Fan Man. See you next time, guys.